Chapter 946. Take this seriously. Whether it was inside or outside the game, Mo Fan never showed any response towards Yishu's instructions. However, the discussion between Yishu and Wei Chen had struck an alarm bell to everyone in Happy. Bullying normal players wasn't difficult for them, so they wouldn't usually consider any losses in battle. This time's training was different though. They were facing pro players. Running into one or two wasn't a big deal. After all, they were a team, they had the numbers advantage. But this time, the other side came out with 6 in one breath. These 6 were all all-stars this year. There was no need to question their strength. Moreover, while these 6 had come out, who knew if there was anyone else hiding within the guild? One dragon after the other had appeared just before, no? In the past, Yishu would have certainly waited until enough had happened before calling everyone to move out, doing whatever was convenient for them. It was different this time. They weren't here to snatch the boss. They were here to use the boss as a business item and fight with these pro players, so they obviously couldn't wait until these guys weakened and then come out to directly attack the biggest problems. Everyone was spirited and full of energy. It would only be meaningful if this battle went back and forth 300 rounds. Wealth and glory goes to those who takes risks. Comrades, forward, Yishu mobilized his troops. What type of stupid speech is that? Chen Guo complained. Huh? Why are you here? Yishu questioned. Chen Guo gave Yishu a death glare outside of the game. That guy always disregarded her. Her chasing haze was also a member of the team. Why couldn't she practice together with them? Go. Team Happy didn't lack a spirited person like Lu Hanwen. Tang Ru supported Yishu's decision. Her soft mist was the first to charge forward. Chao Yifan continued to mature during this period of time. His ability to grasp the overall situation and to coordinate with others had become more outstanding. His understanding towards a phantom demon had reached a pro level. When he saw Soft Mist move, he didn't dare dally and immediately followed after her, ready to cast a ghost formation at any moment. Let's go then. Seeing how 2 of his teammates had charged forward, Wei Chen didn't say anything more. Even though he really wanted to hide his death's hand first, his teammates had already rushed out. He couldn't just go back and make a trip to the city. Humph, Chen Guo's anger hadn't subsided yet. She glared fiercely at Yishu and then controlled her chasing haze to move forward as well. She lifted the steel cannon in her hands and started taking aim at the alternate accounts of those gods. Not long afterwards, the summons from Concealed Light blocked her line of sight. Concealed Light, move your things aside. Chen Guo was furious. Luoji's skill level had risen. He could skillfully control several summons now, so when the battlefield became chaotic, he could increase that number a bit. Summoners weren't a welcome class in teams. It wasn't without reason. For example, long-ranged classes would feel annoyed if something like this happened to them. Lu Ji heard her boss shout at him. He felt embarrassed and immediately had his summons give way. At this moment, Yishu mercilessly pointed out, you moving away is much easier than him moving his summons away. What? Chen Guo flared up. Wu Chen's Dawn rifle strode over behind her and said kindly, follow me. Wu Chen didn't say anything more, but Chen Guo could feel that it was her chasing haze that had been positioned poorly. However, she had yelled at Concealed Light to move his summons away. It made it seem like she was doing things randomly. It's all because of you, Chen Guo humped at Yishu. That wasn't her playstyle. Haha, I know you didn't do it on purpose, Yishu said. Chen Guo hated how she couldn't bring out her steel cannon from the game. If she had that in her hands, she would have certainly blasted Yishu into oblivion. Everyone in Team Happy came out one after the other. The players of the 3 guilds went into an uproar. If it could be said that watching all-stars fight was a joyous scene for everyone, then Happy was a plague to be avoided. Lord Grimm is here. For a moment, howls echoed as if wolves had come. In the chats of the 3 guilds, people were constantly shouting and typing. It seems like the famous ones are here. The gods fighting each other also noticed them. When Lin Jingyan heard the cries from the players, he couldn't help but glance over and felt all sorts of emotions. How about we ally together to crush that guy first? Zhang Jiali suddenly came up with a grand proposal. Among everyone here, apart from those young rookies, who didn't want to crush that guy rushing over? It was a good opportunity right now. I support this suggestion. Ha 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 ha, Huang Shaoshan shouted. Then let's go. Wang Jiaxi expressed his approval. Should we call over old Han too? Lin Jingyan wasn't satisfied with just this. Call him out in the chat group. Whoever wants to come can come. We'll go first. Zhang Jiali was clearly more ruthless. After saying these words, he stopped fighting and turned his gun around. His 100 Blossoms fighting style instantly provided cover for everyone. Wang Jiaxi didn't raise any objections. Just when he was about to jump on his broom and fly away, a sword pierced through his stomach. He had actually been struck from behind. Huang Shaoshan, Wang Jiaxi's voice was filled with helplessness. Ha 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 ha, this is revenge for the previous 3v1, Huang Shaoshan laughed wildly. How could Wang Jiaxi let him run rampant? His character turned around and flew down. Huang Shaoshan's blade master lifted his sword into a defensive position. Zhang Zhao's Spitfire had already let loose a gorgeous display of explosions. Then, he heard the sounds of fighting behind him. He turned around and almost died from anger. Can't you guys be a bit more serious? Zhang Jiali was furious. His 100 Blossoms style consumed lots of his skill cooldowns and mana. In particular, when facing a top-tier expert like Yi Chu, throwing 2 or 3 bombs at him wouldn't be enough, so he needed to go all out. His hard work wasn't just to let loose some fireworks for those two to enjoy. Lin Jingyan actually went to the pro player chat group and typed out a message. When he went back to the game from QQ, he saw this scene. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Lu Hanwen and Gao Yingji were following their seniors blindly. Their seniors seemed to have stopped fighting, so they stopped too. Then, they saw Huang Shaoshan and Wang Jiaxi battling again. Without another word, the two did the same. During this short period of time, while the gods were in fighting, Happy approached. Artillery fire boomed. Summoned creatures charged forward chaotically. Happy had been formed for such a long time already. They practiced together every day. They were no longer three-legged cats when they went into battle, especially for this type of unmanned initiation with the purpose of causing chaos for the opponents. Their fighting was sharp and professional. As a result, this wave of sharp coordination crashed against scattered sand. Even if each piece of sand was a god, they were instantly struck silly. Each character suffered different levels of damage. Zhang Zhao's Spitfire was thrown onto the ground by a circle swing from Tang Ru's soft mist. He even heard that sister mumble to herself in disappointment, God? A warrior can be killed but not disrespected, Zhang Jiali roared. He threw a grenade at Soft Mist's face. Tang Ru was experienced now. She was no stranger to any class. When she saw that it was just a normal grenade, she didn't take it too seriously. She swung her spear, striking the grenade and stabbing towards the Spitfire on the ground. But when her spear passed through the smoke and light from the grenade's explosion, it didn't hit anything. Then, she heard a voice from behind her. Girl, turn around and take a look at a god. Tang Ru was startled. Using a grenade's explosion to achieve the same effects as Ninja's smoke bomb was something that Tang Ru had never seen before by Spitfire. But no matter how great you were, it wouldn't scare Tang Ru. She didn't listen to his words and turn around. Instead, she directly sent her spear backwards. Wow! Impressive. Zhang Jiali saw her directly attack behind her. It was quite a difficult move to execute. There were practically no normal players who could do it in a real battle. It was only a small praise though. Normal players might not be able to do it, but in the pro scene, who couldn't perform such a basic move? Bang 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 bang. Tang Ru's attack wasn't faster than Zhang Zhao's bomb. As soon as the first bomb exploded, Zhang Jiali started his combo show. 4 explosions in a row, all dealing additional back attack damage. Soft Mist ate 4 explosions in a row. Tang Ru stared blankly. She couldn't do anything at all. Only then did she understand that getting an attack in on a god wasn't a reason to underestimate him. That could only happen if she attacked him until he died. After these 4 chain explosions, there was no more. It wasn't that Zhang Jiali wanted to stop his combo, but someone had disrupted him. It was a team fight. In these moments, everyone had to help each other. Tang Ru and Steamed Bun still lacked this awareness, but Qiao Yifan was quite accomplished in this area. His 1-inch ash used Ghost Slash, accurately creating a gap between Zhang Zhao's Spitfire and Tang Ru's Soft Mist. Yifan, Gao Yingji saw 1-inch ash appear and immediately called out. 1-inch ash was Qiao Yifan. That was no secret. Your friend? Lu Hanwen saw Gao Yingji's witch look over there and even give a shout, so he asked. Yeah, Gao Yingji replied. Is he strong? Lu Hanwen asked. Gao Yingji wasn't able to reply. He didn't want to look down on his good friend, but for a pro player, strong wasn't a good description for Chao Yifan's class. I'll go see for myself, Lu Hanwen suddenly said and then triple-slashed towards Chao Yifan's 1-inch ash. Gao Yingji was startled. After a bit, he woke up. For a moment, he had forgotten that Chao Yifan was no longer part of Team Tiny Herb. They were no longer teammates. He instinctively rushed over to protect him, his witch immediately jumped onto his broom and flew over. Chao Yifan had an outstanding grasp of the overall situation. He naturally noticed Lu Hanwen heading towards him. His 1-inch ash swung his sword and activated an ice boundary in front of him, creating a protective zone. Lu Hanwen saw it and could only go around. However, Gao Yingji's witch caught up and rushed down from above, sending Lu Hanwen's blade master into a stumble. 1-inch ash was in his own ice boundary. He obviously wouldn't be affected by it. He moved through the ice boundary and followed up Gao Yingji's attack. His sword let out a moonlight slash, full moon slash, and then a ghost slash to knock Lu Hanwen's blade master far, far away. To think we would fight side by side in this type of situation, Gao Yingji realized that the two were not teammates. He forced out a smile somewhat sadly. Before Chao Yifan could say anything, Gao Yingji's character was lifted up from behind and then thrown. He was unable to quick recover. It was a grab. What, side by side? You guys are enemies. Take this seriously. Yishu's Lord Grimm threw Gao Yingji's witch away. *TLN, the original phrase is directly attack Wanglong. The origin of this phrase comes from this. Song dynasty general Yu Fei studied martial under Zhou Tong. After Zhou Tong died, he would sweep Zhou Tong's tomb every month. His father praised him for his faithfulness. If there's a chance for you to serve your country, then you should take it. In 1122, Yu Fei enlisted into the army. Due to his bravery and skill at fighting, he soared from a normal soldier to a great leader. Yu Fei was very kind to his subordinates. If a soldier fell ill, he would personally brew medicine for him. The remunerations to a family for a soldier's death was small, so he would divide a portion of the rewards given by the court to those who died. Whenever there was a military operation, he would gather everyone over to discuss and agree upon it before setting out. Thus, when his troops suddenly encountered enemies, they would not panic. However, his military morals were very strict. One time, a soldier took a saddle from a commoner. That soldier was immediately put to death under martial law. His troops would sometimes need to pass the night on the road. The commoners opened their doors to welcome them, but no one dared to go. The commoners called them the Yu family army. The Yu family army fought bravely for 10 years and recovered a large portion of lost land. In the Zhuxian town campaign, they broke through Jin Wuju's army. The morale of the Jin soldiers were at the lowest, while the morale of the Song soldiers were at their highest. The people occupied by the Great Jin stood up and rallied together. Recovery of the Central Plains was imminent. Yu Fei spoke to his army with excitement, directly attack the Wanglong prefecture and then drink to your heart's content. The Wanglong prefecture is the current-day Jilin province, Nong'an County. Back then, it was the central region of the Great Jin. Chapter 947. Free for all brawl. Chao Yifan's manners were indeed proper, and Gao Yingji's witch had already been thrown far away, no longer able to continue fighting. Chao Yifan continued to control 1-inch ash to clean up the scene. Nice phantom demon. A voice from above called out. Another witch flew by on a broom, but this time, it wasn't Gao Yingji. Coming face to face with his former captain, Chao Yifan couldn't help but feel a sense of dread. For a moment, he forgot how to respond. Seeing Steam Bun Invasion's brawler quietly snuck up on Wang Jiaxi's witch with a brick, he actually subconsciously yelled out, "Watch out!" In reality, how could Wang Jiaxi fall for such an obvious sneak attack? He had even noticed Huang Shaoshan's blade master attack from another side. How could Steam Bun's far less clever attack ever hope to hit him? While dodging Huang Shaoshan's blade, Wang Jiaxi simply maneuvered to avoid Steam Bun's brick in passing. Traitor, Steam Bun yelled out angrily, actually acting as if Chao Yifan's warning was the sole reason his attack had failed. What? Chao Yifan instantly reacted, feeling ashamed. He felt like he couldn't show his face in front of this entire room of people anymore. Regardless of whether or not his warning actually helped, at that moment, he had truly betrayed the team. Although he had only been in Tiny Herb for 1 year, his feelings towards the team were quite complicated. After avoiding 2 sneak attacks, Wang Jiaxi pushed his witch forward, like a race car drifting within a crowd. Huang Shaoshan couldn't keep up with his rhythm for a moment. As his blade master raised his sword, he easily slashed towards Steamed Bun Invasion. Ack! Steamed Bun cried out in fear, controlling his character to jump away, but Huang Shaoshan's unleashed sword skill had already arrived. Chao Yifan anxiously cleared his mind. One Injash moved like a berserker, bravely pouncing forward to protect Steamed Bun Invasion. Because of this, Concealed Light Summon Beast attacked 1 step ahead, joining Steamed Bun Invasion to surround and trap Huang Shaoshan's Blade Master. Wait, it's me. Don't make a mistake, Steamed Bun quickly shouted at Luo Ji. Luo Ji didn't know what to say. Did he really look foolish to the point where he couldn't distinguish friend from foe? Sword light burst out and Concealed Light's ring of summon beasts were actually all scattered by Huang Shaoshan. Luo Ji was dumbstruck. A god's strength indeed couldn't be estimated with normal reasoning. Even like this, they couldn't surround him? Suddenly, a warlock's hexagram prison emerged from the ground in a flash of light, trapping Huang Shaoshan's Blade Master. A moment later, Huang Shaoshan also felt deeply moved. He controlled his Blade Master to turn and look at the warlock who had just cast Death's Door. Wei Chen was bragging. Thinking back to those days, my single hexagram prison was able to completely trap Huang Shaoshan. The best boss hunter in the online game? A joke, as soon as he ran into me. While talking, he only saw one side of Huang Shaoshan's Blade Master. In the split second before the hexagram prison was complete, Huang Shaoshan dodged sideways into the gap between 2 beams of light, making his escape. How did he run into you? Steamed Bun asked, actually listening to Wei Chen's bragging. Times have really changed. Seeing that Huang Shaoshan was able to escape even in this situation, Wei Chen felt wistful. Nowadays, Huang Shaoshan was no longer that naive youth he could easily pin down. As a peak god in the Glory Alliance, him pinning down Wei Chen was much more likely. Indeed, after cutting through Concealed Light's summon beasts and breaking out of the hexagram prison, Huang Shaoshan completely ignored Steamed Bun Invasion, directly charging towards Wei Chen's windward formation to pin him down. Damn. Protect me, Wei Chen really didn't hold back. When meeting a strong opponent, he quickly turned and ran away, moving smoothly and confidently. You have nowhere to run. Suddenly, in front of him Lu Hanwen appeared, who had returned once again after Chao Yifan's 1-inch ash had knocked him flying. He coordinated with Huang Shaoshan's offensive, blocking Wei Chen's windward formation. This was the confrontation between Team Blue Rain's most senior retired player and its youngest new recruit. Team Happy's members couldn't hold back their emotions, all turning to watch. Help! Help! Except, all they saw was Wei Chen simultaneously yelling and controlling windward formation to continue running away. Meeting Lu Hanwen, who wasn't even half his age, Wei Chen still had no reservations about fleeing. Support quickly arrived. Wu Chen's Dawn rifle aimed the muzzle of his cannon, coming over to provide cover fire for windward formation. Chen Guo's chasing haze copied him. However, Lu Hanwen's mechanics were good. His Blade Master stubbornly blew through 2 launchers' attacks. From this, it was easy to see the difference in the ability levels of the 2 launchers. Chasing Haze's attacks clearly landed a bit further away from Lu Hanwen. This wasn't because she wasn't coordinating with Wu Chen's launcher, her aim was just much worse. Thus, even under the artillery fire, Lu Hanwen still put Wei Chen in a difficult situation, making him dart around wildly. Huang Shaoshan was embarrassed to run over in 2v1. As a result, no one noticed that at this moment, Happy's cleric and quietly started to chant. Lu Hanwen stepped forward. And Wen Yi's little cold hands waved his cross. The flames of sacred fire spread almost instantly, engulfing Lu Hanwen's Blade Master entirely. He didn't have a chance to dodge, he didn't even see sacred fire's little flame. By the time he managed to react, he had already fallen into the trap and been silenced. Ha 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 ha. Wei Chen laughed, changing from fleeing wildly to suddenly striking back in high spirits, all in an instant. He transitioned back to being entirely at ease. Was this also a type of experience that could be gained? No one knew for sure. At this moment, all attacks were focused on Lu Hanwen's Blade Master. It appeared as if the little Blade Master only had to suffer through 3 seconds of being silenced, still able to move normally. However, every expert knew that only relying on forward, backward, and sideway movements in battle was not enough to deal with complicated situations. Sometimes skills could be used during battle to increase mobility in specific ways. A character's movement would also appear faster. Now, Lu Hanwen was completely unable to use these skills for 3 seconds. If his opponents were all at Chen Guo's level, then it wouldn't be a problem at all. However, there was Wu Chen, and the even more ruthless Wei Chen. By the time the 3-second silence ended, Lu Hanwen's Blade Master was trapped by Windward Formation's Binding Curse for another 5 seconds. This time, using skills wasn't a problem. The problem was that his character couldn't even move. Facing long-range classes, Lu Hanwen's Blade Master immediately became a sandbag to soak damage. Even chasing Hayes' satellite beam hit its mark, engulfing him from head to toe. Little Lu, how could Huang Shaoshan just sit by and watch? He had come over to save Lu Hanwen long ago, yet before he could even move half a step, he was blocked by another sword light. Lord Grimm's figure appeared, his sword returning to its sheath in the Myriad Manifestations umbrella. You. Perfect timing. Let me teach you a lesson. Huang Shaoshan concentrated, drawing his sword, before he was immediately surrounded by summoned beasts. One by one they crowded around him, as if waiting for him to give out free candy. Bastard. Fight me 1v1, Huang Shaoshan fumed. Lunatic. Lord Grimm's Myriad Manifestations umbrella spit out a tongue of flames, and 3 anti-tank missiles shot out, coordinating with the summoned beasts, directly exploding on Huang Shaoshan and sending him flying. From his spinning camera, he examined the situation. Lin Jingyan, steamed bun. The 2 brawlers attacked at the same time, fighting hand to hand. Your skill isn't bad, steamed bun was amazed. How is it compared to the number 1 brawler? This one sentence stabbed Lin Jingyan's sore spot. What was this natural talent in trash talking? Saying that I'm the number 1 brawler with a straight face? Lin Jingyan wasn't Wei Chen. He knew very well that his current skill level was below Tang Hao. Even at his peak, if he were pitted against the current Tang Hao, he might still lose more matches than he would win. Yet even if it was like this, Lin Jingyan didn't have time to give Steam Bun an analysis of how he was inferior to Tang Hao, right? Becoming the number 1 brawler, is that your goal? Lin Jingyan could only steer the conversation in a different direction. Nope. My goal is to defeat you, Steam Bun replied. Oh, Lin Jingyan was surprised. So he was Steamed Bun Invasion's goal? This also counted as a type of fan enthusiasm, right? Just as he was preparing to act like a senior, opening his mouth to give a word of encouragement, he heard Steamed Bun continue, Come, tell me your name. Lin Jingyan's heart broke. So you don't even know who I am? After thinking about it once again, he really was too pompous. Just hearing something along the lines of, your skill isn't bad, should have told him that his opponent didn't know who he was. Except, in these present circumstances, he was still wearing Tyrannical Ambition's guild tag and playing a brawler. Was it really that hard to tell who he was? Furthermore, without knowing who he was, this guy actually made him his goal? Was this not an overly ambitious claim, but instead a temporary target? Lin Jingyan was at a bit of a loss. Hey, I was asking for your name. In reality, the other side was still unforgiving. You, guess, Lin Jingyan really couldn't tell whether or not this guy was doing this on purpose. Damn, so boring. Childish. Child, Steamed Bun said. Lin Jingyan really wished this guy would go and challenge Tang Hao. This was a battle scene, leaving the spectating players completely speechless. They all knew that the players from the present guilds were all stars. Except, right now they were fighting with Team Happy, and they didn't appear dominant at all. The most tragic case was Blue Rain. Lu Hanwen chased too fiercely, and was now captured. It looked like he would die at any moment. Blue Brook Guild therefore also became the first guild to react, the guild leader changing spring stomping with anger. Why are you all standing around and watching? Charge. To kill the boss, or, someone asked. Everyone once again became distracted, turning around to look. The Barrier Mountain's wild boss Shadow Tactician San was very lonely at this moment, silently wandering to one side. He had been surrounded by so many players, yet no one moved forward to fight him. They were all ignoring him. This kind of treatment, he's probably never experienced before, right? Changing Spring thought for a moment, before immediately deciding that looking for a PvP confrontation was probably not a good idea. As a proper guild, they should have a proper attitude. Going to the boss was the right course of action. Except, if they turned to make a move on the boss, what about the others? Changing Spring turned to look at the other two guilds. Oh, it wasn't just two. Changing Spring immediately discovered, the guilds present weren't just those three great guilds anymore. Happy, Heavenly Justice, Conquering Clouds, Parade, and Radiant, this 5-guild alliance, had finally arrived. From the east came another group, Blossom Valley's players. From the west came Misty Castle, from the south Samsara, from the north, it was the long-absent Excellent Dynasty. So lively. Changing Spring thought. Except, as a guild leader, he'd experienced even more spectacular and chaotic battles. Yet, now that he paid attention, how many pro players were hidden among all the guild troops present? Chapter 948. I want to be the core. Let's save little Lou first. Changing Spring calmed down quickly after taking in the current situation. It was urgent to save Lu Hanwen first. No one was touching the boss for now, so they didn't have to rush on that front. Hearing Changing Spring's order, Blue Brook's players immediately swarmed over. Yishu's group saw this was exactly what they hated. Why was it so hard for them to fight pro players in peace? However, they weren't alone anymore. Happy, Heavenly Justice, Conquering Clouds, Parade, and Radiant's Guild Alliance had arrived. Seeing Team Happy's members, they came over to help. Seeing Blue Brook Guild charging forth, they didn't hesitate to clash with them. It was soldiers against soldiers and generals against generals. The operation to save Lu Hanwen was unable to be carried out by the guild for now. Hold on, little Lu, Blue Brook's Blue River yelled out in desperation. Lu Hanwen had spent the summer playing with these guild members. Though he was an official member of Team Blue Rain now, and even an all-star, despite being a rookie, he was still like a younger brother that followed them around all summer long. This younger brother was much more courageous than them, always at the front lines of the battlefield. Because of this, Blue River and the others were used to having to rescue him. It felt just like having to clean up after a troublemaker of a younger brother. Yet this time, it seemed that Lu Hanwen had gotten into something that he couldn't handle. It was that guy. Blue River subconsciously sought out one of the figures. From the new server until now, Lord Grimm, his equipment was still as mismatched and eye-catching as ever. His opponents were no longer the experts of the guilds like them, but Huang Shaoshan, Wang Jiaxi, and others who stood at the top of glory. Fuck, that's how it should be. Why do you always have to bully us? Blue River was a little irritated upon thinking of this. However, when he looked closely, Huang Shaoshan, Wang Jiaxi didn't seem to be having much of a good time against him either. Little Lu. Where was little Lu? Blue River returned to the present and looked over only to find, Lu Hanwen's Blade Master had disappeared. The group that had been beating him down had already dispersed. Then why the hell are we still clashing with Happy, Heavenly Justice, Conquering Clouds and the other guilds? The strangeness of the situation continued and the two guild powers had already fought to the point of no return. Meanwhile, the boss was still strolling around over there. No one was really clear on why they had come anymore. Have you gone to the group chat to call for more people? Zhang Jiali could deal with Tang Ru easily enough, but the overall situation was different. Team Happy was very coordinated and exhibited great teamwork, and as for their side? They had started with Huang Shaoshan stabbing Wang Jiaxi in the back. There was no need to describe how coordinated and cooperative their makeshift alliance was. Seeing how Blue Rain's Lu Hanwen had been dealt with so resolutely and that their opponents were beginning to close in on him, Zhang Jiali was beginning to lose his cool. He quickly moved, crossing paths with Lin Jingyan's brawler, taking the chance to ask this hurriedly. I haven't, Lin Jingyan said. What? It's because I suddenly realized, we're here to steal the boss. If we find a boss, we should kill it quickly without being found out. Why on earth would we go to the chat and inform everyone to get them all to come? Lin Jingyan said. Zhang Jiali paused for a moment. Lin Jingyan's logic was flawless. They were stealing a boss, why would they go and tell others? That was just looking for trouble. The boss, yet, for Zhang Jiali, Lin Jingyan's words had reminded him of what they were here for. Then, when he turned to look, San wasn't lonely anymore. As expected, this guy isn't anything good, Zhang Jiali yelled. The one who had first attacked San was Wang Jiaxi's witch. It was clear that when they started to lose their cool, having met Yishu's Lord Grimm, Wang Jiaxi had never forgotten their initial goal. While they were over here having fun, he had casually rode his broom in a circle and attacked San, who had, till then, been ignored. As for Herb Garden, they had naturally received their orders already. With Wang Jiaxi's attack, they immediately charged out to help. Gao Yingji's witch didn't bother to continue getting into their mess either, having long since gone to support the guild in killing the boss. Zhang Jiali and the others seethed, but were helpless to do anything. They had to find a way to throw Happy off first. With Lu Hanwen down and Wang Jiaxi and Gao Yingji having jumped ship, their situation had suddenly become extremely dangerous. Hey, the boss is going to be taken, calm down. Seeing how Happy seemed to be dead set on fighting them, Zhang Jiali felt like he had to warn them about this. Yeah, Tang Ru, who had been wildly pursuing Zhang Jiali, gave him a response in acknowledgement. Her head didn't even turn and Soft Mist continued to swing her spear viciously at the Spitfire. Holy F***CK, this woman's gone crazy. Old Yi, hurry up and drag her away, Zhang Jiali yelled. It was then that another character appeared in his periphery, charging over at them. Zhang Jiali reacted quickly. 4 successive jumps backwards allowed him to disengage with the help of an opening, and his counterattack launched in the meantime. 4 backwards jumps, along with 4 grenades, flew out towards the approaching character. Boom 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 boom. 4 consecutive explosions, flashing with colorful lights. Spitfire grenades had different effects, so when they exploded, the explosions would all look different. Having thrown 4 in rapid succession, Zhang Jiali obviously couldn't have used the same skill 4 times in a row. Yet these 4 successive grenades hadn't done anything to this attacker. They were obviously an expert. The expert struck and dodged, dealing with all 4 of Zhang Jiao's grenades. He was ignored by the newcomer, who darted straight at Soft Mist. Zhang Jiali took a closer look. The newcomer was also a battle mage, in the Guild Excellent Dynasty. He realized who this was immediately. Was this cooperation, or coming to cause trouble? Zhang Jiali took a moment to consider before decisively deciding to play the bystander. He watched for a moment before leaving. Boss San. Zhang Jiali had put his focus back on their original goal. He escaped from the chaos, avoiding engagement with Happy, and darted straight for Tiny Herb to get the boss back. With a streak of blinding explosions, Zhang Jiao's spearfire pressed through. Normal players didn't have any way to defend against his 100 Blossom style. They hadn't even had the time to orient themselves before Zhang Jiali easily blasted through them. In the blink of an eye, Zhang Jiao's Spitfire had broken through Herb Garden's ranks and arrived at Boss San. Fierce, Tyrannical Ambitions members watched this, bursting with joy, charging forwards to help their god. As for the players of Blossom Valley? They saw this scene as well, but their emotions were tumultuous. Dazzling Spring. In the summer, this Spitfire had gone out of his way to fight by their side. Back then, everyone had figured out that this must be their captain had returned. Who would have thought that when the summer was over, their captain did return, but was no longer their captain. Never mind going over to a rival team, he even took Dazzling 100 Blossoms with him. The Team 100 Blossom fans felt as if they had been toyed with. Their hatred for Zhang Jiali had reached peak point. Now, Zhang Jiali was right there in front of them, still using that Spitfire from the summer, Dazzling Spring. However, the guild name above his head was no longer Blossom Valley, but Tyrannical Ambition. What an eyesore. Who knew how many of those standing in 100 Blossoms formation had such thoughts? This was a emotional sickness, a scar that wouldn't fade. Did it hurt, or itch? They couldn't tell. All they knew was that watching Zhang Jiali fighting with the cheers of Tyrannical Ambition made them feel absolutely terrible. Someone needed to step forwards on Blossom Valley's side, too. Yu Feng, who had come with them, obviously understood this. His berserker stepped out resolutely, charging into Tiny Herb's ranks. His days of being the core player of Team 100 Blossoms weren't as blissful as he had expected them to be. When he was in Team Blue Rain, it didn't matter how good he was, because he would always be in the shadows of 2 others, always the 3rd member of Team Blue Rain. Now, he was in 100 Blossoms and he was, in title, the core player of their team, the definitive main character. Yet after Zhang Jiali returned, he found himself stuck under yet another shadow. To be honest, with the rumors of Zhang Jiao's return, Yu Feng had been anxious. This was because he was very clear on the fact that, if Zhang Jiali returned, he would become the leader of Team 100 Blossoms, and he would be in second place once more. Compared to being third, it was a small improvement, but it wasn't something that Yu Feng would be happy about. He only wanted to be the star of the show. It was good that, while Zhang Jiali did return, he didn't go back to Team 100 Blossoms but to Team Tyranny instead. Yu Feng had thought he could finally have the limelight to himself, but he realized that he couldn't. For each Team 100 Blossoms fan that yelled, "Support Yu Feng," there were 100, 1,000 yelling, "Hate Zhang Jiali." The deeper you love, the deeper your hatred. It could be seen from how deeply the Team 100 Blossom fans loathed Zhang Jiali, how much they had once loved their former captain. This sort of love was what Yu Feng wanted, yet he found out that to become the target of such admiration wasn't as easy as transferring teams. The Team 100 Blossom fans would rather go and rave at Zhang Jiali than give him even a single word of support. Yu Feng's spirit plummeted. Team 100 Blossom's opening matches had been terrible. This wasn't unrelated to Yu Feng's stricken mood. It was a good thing that he recovered soon enough. As an all-star level player, he didn't only know how to wait for pennies from heaven. He had the willpower to fight. He wanted to use his own efforts to change the attitude of Team 100 Blossom's fans. Yu Feng's performance improved by the day, and so did his team's teamwork. The battle records of Team 100 Blossoms had finally been pulled back up, but the shadow within the hearts of their fans, the unforgettable silhouette of that Spitfire, still existed. It was because of this attitude that Zhou Yuan and his new Spitfire could still be pushed into the all-star roster by Team 100 Blossom fans, despite their strength not having reached the peak. Yu Feng was still troubled because he had realized that if, someday, Zhou Yuan's strength really reached the peak, then Yu Feng and his Berserker would fall to second place. Yu Feng didn't want to be second. He wanted to use his Berserker to defend everything he wished to achieve. Chapter 949. Blossoms and Blood. Crimson Storm. After Yu Feng's Berserker charged in, he immediately activated a powerful skill. A bloody aura rose, like a raging river, immediately knocking aside the tyrannical ambition players that were preparing to support Zhang Jiali. After that, he ignored them, raising his sword and charging at Tiny Herb. Yu Feng's playstyle wasn't as elegant as Zhang Jiali, but the power of a god wasn't something that normal players could counter easily. Herb Garden had just been thrown into chaos by Zhang Jiali, and now they saw another heading towards them fiercely. Though it was a Smurf account, the account was from 100 Blossoms and it wasn't hard to guess who would jump out at a time like this. Scatter, Herb Garden's guild leader, Arasema, was quite the player. He knew that having people crowd together to form a wall would only increase the effectiveness of the opponent's attack. Instead, having everyone scatter and attack from all sides, using numbers to chip away at their opponent's health, was a better strategy. Who would have thought that before Herb Garden had the chance to take on another god that someone had already charged out and engaged Yu Feng's Berserker? Lord Grimm. This was a strange opponent to appear for Yu Feng. The boss was being stolen by Herb Garden, so everyone should be charging at them to take the boss back. Why was this guy suddenly popping up to stop him? Turning around to have a look, he found that all of Team Happy was like that. They didn't seem to care that the boss was getting stolen, just grabbing random opponents and fighting them. What on earth was this about? How would Yu Feng know that Happy was here to kill bosses, but San wasn't the boss they had set their sights on? Instead, it was them, pro players. If one came, they'd fight one, if two came they'd fight them both. Yishu's Lord Grimm came to engage him and prepared to attack without hesitation, when suddenly a voice rung out from behind, "Hey, this won't do. How come I have no support?" Then they saw the glorious explosions that signaled the arrival of Zhang Zhao's dazzling spring, who had charged in and then charged right back out again. Where the boss was being killed in Herb Garden's formation had Wang Jiaxi there, overseeing things, and beside him was Gao Yingji and a bunch of Herb Garden players. Zhang Jiali wouldn't be able to do much charging in there on his own. He had originally hoped that the players in Tyrannical Ambition would be able to charge in with him. He had never expected that strike from Yu Feng, which had prevented Tyrannical Ambition's advance for a moment. In just this small period of time, Zhang Jiali felt threatened and quickly disengaged from the mob. To him, normal players were nothing. If it weren't for Wang Jiaxi, he would probably have little trouble dealing with all of them alone. The Herb Garden players were all on the verge of crying. Amongst the flashing lights, they could only vaguely tell that dazzling springs had flown by. Those a little closer might even get a bullet or grenade as a souvenir. Zhang Zhao's retreat sent Lord Grimm into his line of sight, and hurriedly called for Yishu to support him. Hurry, Wang Jiaxi's almost done with the boss. Quick. Lord Grimm responded by flicking his spear at him. Zhang Jiali made a sound of surprise, forcing Dazzling Spring to jump to the side in a dodge and fell into a confused state similar to Yu Feng. Soon, he had come to a conclusion. You've gone crazy. Wake up. Yishu not only didn't wake up, but taunted both Zhang Jiali and Yu Feng. Zhang Jiali and Yu Feng's characters exchanged a glance, feeling rather awkward. Yu Feng had stepped out to prove himself to the Hundred Blossom fans, but now it seemed like the situation required him to team up with the most hated traitor of Team Hundred Blossoms, Zhang Jiali. How could he accept this? As for Zhang Jiali, just seeing the two words Blossom Valley on top of another's head would cause his emotions to swirl with chaos. One day he had gone to the shop with Lin Jingyan, and he had ended up sighing at a stock of Hundred Blossoms branded *royal jelly for 5 minutes straight. These two players both hesitated, giving Happy a chance. Concealed light summons swarmed them, Windward Formation had hit who knows where and directly activated a death's door. Dawn Rifle and Chasing Haze also opened fire with powerful skills. Satellite beams descended from the sky, one each, making sure they wouldn't get off easily. Zhang Jiali and Yu Feng both felt very awkward about teaming up, but the situation was forcing their hand. There was no chance of cooperating with Happy even if they wanted to anymore. Their goal of coming here in the first place was to fight pro players for experience. Victory wasn't a goal, so they didn't need to plan. They didn't need any convoluted methods. All they had to do was simple: find an opponent and fight. Steam Bun Invasion was still fighting Lin Jingyan's brawler. Soft Mist's battle with Sun Zhang's battle mage was still raging on as well. Steam Bun's fighting was natural to the point where a veteran like Lin Jingyan couldn't even figure it out. He was on the verge of wondering where all his years of experience as fighting as a brawler had gone. Tang Ru's fighting was fierce, especially since she knew that the person she was up against was the current #1 battle mage, One Autumn Leaf's player, a guy who was arrogant to the point of immaturity. Therefore, she was at the peak of her ability, and her performance was far better than usual when she was dungeoning or peeking in the arena. Even so, that didn't mean the two managed to take the upper hand. It was just the way that they had each engaged their opponents with their own styles had taken the two off guard. Lin Jingyan and Sun Shang quickly managed to stabilize the situation. However, Steam Bun and Tang Ru weren't normal players that they could defeat with ease. Victory was something they had to earn through care and strong focus. The battle between gods raged on and the guilds had no idea what to do. Tyrannical Ambition had originally wanted to charge in to steal the boss with Zhang Jiali, but ended up getting stopped by a Crimson Storm from Yu Feng's Berserker. After that, they saw Dazzling Spring jump out again and start entangling with Happy. Should they go for the boss, or help fight off Happy? As for Excellent Dynasty, Chen Yahui wanted to spit blood. Zhang Jiali, at least, showed that he still had a clear mind and intentions. As for their god Sun Shang, he had immediately entered combat upon seeing Happy and charged in to fight them without hesitation. Chen Yahui wanted to cry. Excellent Dynasty hadn't won in the competition for bosses in a long time. He could clearly feel that Happy had made arrangements specifically to counter them. They were heading towards the state of a life and death struggle. Today, a god had uncharacteristically decided to help them and Chen Yahui was full of excited anticipation. Yet they met Happy the moment they came and their god didn't want the boss, but Happy instead. Chen Yahui wanted to bash his head against his keyboard and die. Vice Captain Xiao, look, Chen Yahui was helpless, but it was a good thing that they had another god overseeing this, Xiao Shiken. Xiao Shiken was rather troubled by this as well. Ask Sun Shang to come back? He wasn't confident he could help Sun Shang defeat Happy? That would be spoiling him too much. Ignore Sun Shang and go for the boss? This. Sun Shang was their captain, their core, their ace. If they just tossed him aside, that didn't seem very appropriate. I'll go. Xiao Shiken didn't have a better plan of action. He could only go up there personally to try and snap Sun Shang out of it. Tang Ru was already having enough trouble dealing with Sun Shang alone. Her performance was at its peak, but it wasn't giving Sun Shang any obvious trouble. Tang Ru knew very well that her skill level wasn't near enough to defeat this person one-on-one. I think that's enough from you. Now it's my turn. At this moment, Sun Shang gave a battle cry and grasped an opening left in Tang Ru's barrage of attacks, about to counterattack. Boom! A sudden explosion struck them. Sun Shang hurriedly dodged, losing his chance to counterattack, vexed. Turning his view, he saw that it was Zhang Zhao's dazzling spring, fighting with a bunch of Happy's players with his 100 Blossoms style. Explosives flew everywhere and one of them had rolled over, interrupting Sun Zhang's plans. Without waiting for Sun Shang to begin cursing, Soft Mist's attacks came again, as furious as ever. Though she knew she wasn't as good as Sun Shang, was Tang Ru one to give up? Her fighting spirit was undying. Don't you know when to give up? Sun Shang hollered. He had obviously thought that Tang Ru would begin to feel helpless, begin to back down and accept defeat after being suppressed by his cream of the crop skill. Yet she hadn't, not at all. Soft Mist's spear was as sharp as ever. An ant like you wants to move an elephant? Sun Shang mocked, preparing another powerful counterattack. Swoosh! The shockwaves from the downswing of a blade rolled over and Sun Shang had to dodge once again, interrupting his counterattack. Who the F***CK? Sun Shang cursed first and asked questions later this time. Turning his view, he saw that it was a berserker from Blossom Valley, probably Yu Feng, who had escaped and counterattacked with a collapsing mountain and backwards jump, just brushing past Sun Zhang's battle mage. He was standing just in range of the shockwaves from the impact. Yu Feng and Zhang Zhao's dazzling blossoms stood one in the front and the other to the back, breaking out of Happy's encirclement together and accidentally messing up Sun Zhang's pace. He could excuse it once, but if he didn't strike back the second time, then he wouldn't be himself. Sun Shang flicked the mouse in his right hand. His battle mage had already turned, his spear raised and a tyrant's destruction was flung over. Yu Feng and Zhang Jiali really hadn't meant to do it on purpose, so they hadn't expected Sun Zhang's attack. Unable to dodge the tyranny's destruction, Yu Feng's berserker took a direct hit. Xiao Shiken, who was bringing his character over, saw this and could only think one thing: he should just leave this guy and let him die. Stealing a boss, they couldn't even get around to just dealing with their mutual enemies, who would go around making more. People who made such provocations were asked to have everyone focus fire on them. However, a tyrant's destruction wasn't enough for Sun Shang to calm down, or maybe it was a habit of his, as a pro player, because one hit could always lead to a combo of and more. Sun Zhang's battle mage had resolutely turned around, launching a fierce attack at Yu Feng's berserker. Happy was also very confused. Wasn't this guy their greatest enemy? Was he trying to join them now? Yu Feng didn't want to make more trouble, but how could he not strike back when someone attacked him like this? After hurriedly parrying Sun Zhang's attack, he immediately countered. A wild blood strike sent Sun Shang backwards, and then several flashes of blade and blood were flung out at the pursuing members of Happy. The aura of the Alliance's first berserker was evident in these bloody attacks. Zhang Zhao's dazzling spring also turned back to return fire. He had finally realized that Happy was just here to cause trouble. If they weren't defeated, then it would be hard for them to steal the boss without further interruption. With Yu Feng's sudden burst of attacks snatching back the upper hand, Zhang Jiali immediately turned to take this opportunity. Amongst the grand explosions, a blade flashed and a bloody aura struck. Even a top god like Sun Shang had been beaten back, never mind Happy's players. Everyone looked on with shock at the developing scene. Yi Shu, Lin Jingyan, Wang Jiaxi, a scene from the past surfaced in these experienced veterans' minds. Blossoms and blood. Wasn't this a nostalgic scene of the old Team 100 Blossoms Blossom duo of a Spitfire and Berserker? Chapter 950. Blossoms and Blood reappear. Blossoms and Blood. Back in the days, Team 100 Blossoms' two gods had founded this signature playstyle. Sun Ziping's injury had forced him into retirement, and the playstyle vanished along with him. Though Team 100 Blossoms wished to recreate it, they could not find a suitable berserker who could partner with Zhang Jiali. In the end, the playstyle became a memory. Yi Shu and these other older players had experienced Blossoms and Blood for themselves, so their impression of this playstyle was deeper. Team 100 Blossoms had invited the current number 1 berserker player, Yu Feng, and picked up the former number 1 berserker character, Blossoming Chaos. In exchange, they gave up Dazzling 100 Blossoms and built a new Spitfire character, Bright Blossoms, for Zhou Yuan. They wanted to recreate this former splendor. However, Team 100 Blossom did not perform well at the start of the season. Even though they gradually improved, the synergy between Yu Feng and Zhou Yuan was still lacking in maturity, let alone replicating Team 100 Blossom's past glory. But in the game's heavenly domain, God Zhang Jiali, who had left Team 100 Blossoms for Team Tyranny, had allied together with the new core of Team 100 Blossoms, Yu Feng, to recreate this scene. Yi Shu and the other gods saw it first. Then, the Blossom Valley players followed. Blossom Valley's elite troops didn't lack older fans. Their accomplishments in glory couldn't match those of pro players, so their reaction was a half-beat slower. However, they quickly realized it. That familiar scene before them was the blossoms and blood from their memories. Before Blossom Valley's old fans could become excited, they saw clearly how this scene had been revived. Their hearts immediately shattered like broken vases, and they experienced the joys and sorrows of life. Zhang Jiali, why did you leave? A heart-wrenching shout suddenly erupted from Blossom Valley. This blossoms and blood scene had awakened their deepest memories. In the end, it was because they couldn't let go of Zhang Jiali that they complained about his choice to join Team Tyranny. If Zhang Jiali had stayed with Team 100 Blossoms, with Yu Feng, couldn't the long-awaited blossoms and blood return? The battlefield instantly fell silent. A weep followed this heart-wrenching shout. No one could tell if the person was a guy or girl, but at this moment, his or her emotions had gone out of control. Zhang Jiali stood still. He had just realized that he and Yu Feng had never practiced together before or communicated with each other, yet they were still able to reproduce a blossoms and blood. Their experience, awareness, and skill had reached a certain level, allowing for this to happen. However, it wasn't intentional, so if the two immediately tried to replicate it, it might not happen again. But while those at a pro level could understand this reasoning, normal players wouldn't care. When they saw the blossoms and blood again, they felt even more anguished at Zhang Jiali's departure. The bitterness in their heart only deepened because they knew that even if there were people who had lost control of their emotions from their hearts being crushed, it would not change reality. Zhang Jiali was no longer a member of Team 100 Blossoms. The previous Blossoms and Blood was simply an illusion. It would not appear in Team 100 Blossoms this season. Everyone could understand the emotions felt by Team 100 Blossoms fans, which was why the battlefield suddenly fell into silence. They were all glory players. They laughed, cried, and argued over the same things. Sympathy came about just that easily. Regardless, what's past is past. Someone suddenly said from beside Dazzling Spring. Zhang Jiali turned around and saw Yi Shu's Lord Grimm. Yes. Zhang Jiali suddenly smiled. The feeling of guilt in his heart had truly been incomparably intense. He had even felt the urge to retire again, but even if he did, what would come of it? The past was the past. He could never go back. If he could, Zhang Jiali would have gone back in time to Season 5. He wouldn't have allowed Sun Ziping's injury flare up. Perhaps Team 100 Blossoms would have become the champions that year. That might even have been the start of Team 100 Blossoms' reign. But it was such a pity. What's past is past. His choice had been the result of being careful and being careful again. Why should he regret it? Why should he shrink back again? He had already retired cowardly once. Why did such a thought appear again? Running away definitely wasn't the solution. Zhang Jiali let out a sigh. This time, he had decided. Dazzling Spring lifted his hand. Bang! Yu Feng's berserker was shot in the head at near point-blank range. We're enemies now, Zhang Jiali said calmly. Thanks. Yu Feng actually said thanks towards this attack because he knew very well that after this shot, he truly became Team 100 Blossoms' core. The illusion left in the hearts of Team 100 Blossoms fans had finally been shattered by this one shot. They would no longer feel regret or reminiscent of him. Only resentment would remain in their hearts. You're welcome. Yu Feng didn't think Zhang Jiali would actually reply to his thanks as if it were the proper thing to do. Good luck. Don't disappoint them, Zhang Jiali said. This guy? Did he intentionally shoot me? Yu Feng was astonished because he had realized that Zhang Jiali had intentionally been ruthless, breaking off the last bit of feelings that the fans of Team 100 Blossoms had for him. Seizing this opportunity, he pushed Yu Feng into the light, letting him become the new hope for Team 100 Blossoms fans. Yu Feng didn't think that in this type of situation, he would receive the trust from Team 100 Blossom's true key figure. This was not something a contract would give him. This method was too cruel though. Before Yu Feng could say anything, the players from Blossom Valley had exploded. Zhang Zhao's shot severed all relationships with them. His declaration of "we're enemies now" made them completely furious. They were no longer weeping. At this moment, they only desired to fight. What wild boss? What uncommon materials? To hell with it. They had once revered the guy in front of him like a god. Now, he had become their greatest enemy. They needed to teach this guy a lesson no matter what. The players from Blossom Valley threw themselves at him. Their fear towards the gods? It didn't exist anymore. Dazzling Spring lifted up his arm and gripped his gun tightly, facing these Blossom Valley players, but the pro players discovered that even though Dazzling Spring aimed his gun towards them, he couldn't fire it. Just lifting the gun wasn't something done to attack. Yu Feng, who was closest to him, obviously understood this even better. Although he knew that these were all moves benefiting his future, his blood was boiling. He wanted to stop everything from continuing. However, facing the turbulent Blossom Valley group, would they listen to his explanation? Crimson Storm. At this moment, a powerful berserker skill was unleashed. The storm crashed into Blossom Valley, stopping their momentum. But these Blossom Valley players weren't as rational as those tyrannical ambition players, who had been cut off by Yu Feng. Those who were hit by the attack fell, but those who didn't ignored the damage and continued to charge towards Zhang Zhao's Dazzling Spring. Then, they heard sounds of a greatsword slashing in unbroken succession. A figure had stepped in front of Dazzling Spring. Wild Blood Strike, Whirlwind Strike, and the new skill, Absolute Storm, cut towards Blossom Valley, instantly clearing them away. That player pointed his greatsword to his side. The blood-soaked sword had completely lost its original luster. He did not turn his head and simply asked, "What are you afraid of? Another summer of sleep?" Everyone saw this berserker's ID. But who was this? Everyone immediately identified this player's guild. Heavenly Justice? Team Heavenly Swords had a berserker, and that berserker was Team Heavenly Swords' owner. His status was extremely high. To become a pro player meant his own skill level couldn't be lacking, but placed on this battlefield, Lu Guaning's status as a pro player wasn't anything to blink at. Apart from the players from Team Happy, all of the pro players were all stars. Sun Shang and Xiao Shiken simply weren't chosen this year due to special circumstances. If they were still in the alliance, those two would undoubtedly have been chosen as all stars. Was this berserker, who forcefully put himself in the spotlight, Heavenly Swords Lu Guaning? The pro players at the scene didn't think so. They weren't looking down on Lu Guaning. Bullying normal players didn't require that much skill. However, every player had their own aura. Team Heavenly Swords had been in the alliance for half a year now. All of the teams had an idea what Lu Guaning's berserker was like. Even though Team Heavenly Swords was a new team, their momentum was like a torrential rush. All of the teams took precautions against this new team. They had thoroughly done their research on Team Heavenly Swords. After half a year, all of them had a good grasp of Team Heavenly Swords' strength. This Another Summer of Sleep's playstyle was much more wild and violent compared to Lu Guaning's. It couldn't be that he suddenly became extremely arrogant as soon as he came to the game, right? "Who are you?" Zhang Jiali was shocked. No one could be more familiar with such a wild and violent berserker playstyle than him. If you've already decided to say goodbye to the past, why is there still a thread of weakness remaining in your heart? Another Summer of Sleep still didn't turn his head. I was just. Get rid of all those distracting thoughts. Another Summer of Sleep raised his blood-soaked sword again and pointed it at Blossom Valley. Oh, with you, Zhang Jiali said. Sure. The newcomer didn't mind. You're still so crazy. Zhang Jiali felt moved. He already knew who this newcomer was. He was the other dependable and beloved god of Team 100 Blossoms. Now, he had pulled out his blade, ready to fight with his former fans. Zhang Jiali couldn't help but feel a ripple spread in his heart. This was exactly something his former partner would do. Right now the person who needs to go crazy isn't me, but you, Sun Jeping said. Okay, I'm here. Dazzling Spring stepped forward. He didn't only lift up his gun. This time, he truly attacked. Gunshots, explosions, sword slashes. Blossoms and blood.